Hello, Ezemy one, and welcome back to Rat Run. I'm your usual everyday time-puzzling rat girl, Ezemy Jika, and today I will be solving Rat Run 13, Triskaidekaphilia. Experiment 13, Bronze, 6th of November, 1974. Although I'm not a superstitious man, I did briefly wonder whether we should have chosen a different test constraint for today's experiment. Perhaps this speaks less to any belief in luck and more to my concern that things continue to go as smoothly as possible. Tempting fate at this stage seems... Rules. Normal Sudoku rules. We know that. Aim of the experiment thinks the rat to reach the cupcake through the maze with 2 by 2. Move it diagonally in 2 by 2. We know that already. Nullifiers. In each row, column, and 3 by 3 box, there is one nullifier cell to be located. The value of a nullifier cell is 0. Each nullifier cell contains a different digit. So there are some cells that look like a certain number, but they count as 0 for the purposes of any numerical constraints. Motion sensors. The value on a pink motion sensor indicates how many of the up to 9 cells immediately surrounding the sensor are visited by Finks. The sensor itself is counted if visited. So technically, if we have a nullified motion sensor, then it could be a 0 because here it says the value, and this is the value rather than the digit. That is a very important distinction to make when looking at these modified cells. Black currants, values connected by a black currant have a 1 to 2 ratio. One is double the other. We've done those before. Grapes, values connected by a green grape have a difference of at least 5. So they contain one high and one low digit. Oh yeah, it's worth noting that a nullifier cannot be next to a black currant because 2 times 0 is 2, which means it would be in between 2 nullifier cells, and in every case they would both be in the same row, so that can't happen. However, for a grape, values connected by a grape have a difference of at least 5, which means then that we can have a 5 to 0. Normally, you would skip 5 because the greatest difference would be 4 to 9 and 1 to 6, but if you have a 0, then you can go down to 5 as well. But that's if the nullifier is next to a grape. Forbidden doors, values connected by a red X sum to 10. Finks may not pass directly through a red X. So normally these just count as a wall, but in this case, this cell here, she can still move diagonally. Whereas over here, there's a wall that sticks out, but you can't move diagonally through that. And it's also worth noting that a nullifier cannot be next to a red X because then the other digit on the X would have to be 10, which doesn't work. Test constraint. In this experiment, if a row or column or box is visited by things, then the values of all of the visited cells in that row or column or box must sum to exactly 13, even if the cells aren't all adjacent on the path. So since 13 is the magic number in this puzzle, as the title suggests, Triskaidekaphilia means love of the number 13, as opposed to Triskaidekaphobia, which is fear of that number. We should look at all the combinations of numbers that add up to 13. So, for example, in 2 cells, it can be made 3 different ways. It can be made with 9, 4, 8, 5, and 7, 6. In 3 cells, there's actually quite a few different combinations. The method that I use is we take our 2-digit combinations and we split up the smaller digit until there aren't any more possibilities. So we start with 931 because 31 is essentially the same as this 4 here. And then we move down because 31 is the only way to make 4 into unique digits. Move down to 841 and 832. Then we move down to 751 and 742. And then, let's see, 6. Because we can't have any repeats, it can't go down to 733. And then, let's see, 6, 7, it'd be 6, can't be 6, 1, so we have to do 6, 5, 2, 6, 4, 3, and then if we go below 5, it could be 5, 4, 4, well, it can't be 5, 5, 3, and 5, 6, 2 is just the same as this one, so we're getting into repeat. So there's 7 combinations of 3 digits, and then for 4 digits, I believe there's only a few. Combinations of more digits, I tend to start with the lower ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, which adds up to 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 7. We have 1, 2, 4, 6. We can't have 1, 2, 5, 5. 1, 2, no, 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I drew this all in the background layer. Oh, I'm an idiot. Whatever, that's fine. Put this up here. I probably won't really be looking at this very much because we have nullifier cells, which means that normally it would seem that we could only visit 4 cells maximum in each row, column, and box to make 13. But because we have a nullifier cell, the value of which is 0, we can add that to any sum and it won't change. So we already know all the rules, so let's just get started. The first place we have to look is here at the end, because the path has to go through this way to reach the cupcake. And as we stated, the maximum number of cells in any one row, column, or box the path can visit is 5. No, including the 0, there's no 6-digit combination that makes 13, which means the path cannot pass through this way. We can also mark down a bunch of cells where the nullifiers cannot be. I'll make those orange. Actually, no, yeah, orange is fine. Actually, I'll make those yellow. The yellow ones are the cleared cells, so they have to be normal values here too. But any of the sensor cells and grapes could contain a 0. Well, I guess the place to start would be here. Maybe. There are a few different ways that it might come out of this box, but if it, for example, goes straight to here, that means these 3 digits would add up to 13, but also these 2 digits would add up to 13 because they're the only ones visited in this column. So we're probably going to see a lot more cells visited somewhere else. In fact, we need at least one more cell visited in the first 3 rows. Otherwise, this single digit which is visited cannot add up to 13. So, right, every row and column, the top 5 rows have to be visited in order to reach the cupcake, and the last 5 columns have to be visited to reach the cupcake. In order to visit, actually, the top part of the grid only has, since we crossed off this part, only has 2 entrances. It has to come in through here and go around and exit through here. It has to, in fact. Which means this has to be 4, 5, or 6. And this is 5 cells. This is a 5-cell section of the grid, which has to be visited. So this needs to be one nullifier and one combination of 4 digits. So we can remove all of these. Those are all clear. And we can also put an X here because the path cannot visit any more cells in this column. Right, and that also means that the path has to exit this way through this direction, which means this sensor cell has to be normal. Well, I guess this one does too. So this has to be at least 3. Right, and that bottlenecks it through this little corridor. Um, and from there, it could just go straight up to here. But that means it touches every single row of the grid from the top all the way down to the bottom. So every row has to add up to 13. Oh, and of course it goes from left to right as well. So that's all adding up to 13. Also, because there's already 3 cells visited in column 9, it cannot go through this path because that would add 3 more. So it has to go up through here. I think it's going to visit every box. It could potentially not visit box 2, but by the looks of things, it probably will have to. Yeah, we already have 3 cells in this column, so it cannot go through this path. Meaning it has to go this way, which means it does indeed have to visit every single box of the grid as well. Cool. That's a lot of 13s. In fact, that's 27 13s. Yeah, if it goes through this path, then that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells visited in this box, so it cannot go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to go straight through here. It can't visit these cells because that would be 6 in this box. So it can either move into one of these 2 cells or move diagonally. Or wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells in this row already. So it can't touch that cell. So it either moves diagonally or moves into the sensor cell. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 or 6 here. Which means if this is a 5, then this would have to be a nullifier. This would have to be a 0. But if it's a 6, it could be a normal 1, or it could also still be nullified. Either way works. The math cannot pass through this cell, and it cannot pass through this corridor either, because those both just Finks has to connect directly to this part of the line somehow. Oh, and by the same logic here, it can't go through these 3 cells, because that's also 6. So it has to come up to here at least. It might go further up, but it might go over here for some reason. We can't rule that out. Actually, the path cannot visit any of these cells. Well, I guess it could visit these 2. Those could add up to 13 in the columns. Is there one with 4 that has a doubler in it? Well, I don't think this can be 3, 6. It has to be 2 normal digits, because if there's a nullifier, there would be a 0. So these need to be 1, 2, and 4 in some order. It has to contain a 2. Which means it can be 1, 2, 3, 7, or 1, 2, 4, 6, if I'm looking in between my ears correctly. So this digit needs to be at least 3. Oh, this digit is a 4, because we've determined that it can't visit these 2 cells. So these 2 are 1 and 2. I guess it could still be either way, though. But if there's a 4 in the sum, then there has to be a 1 as well. So there's the 1 for this column has to go down here somewhere. Well, this row sum, well, the 4 could be over here, actually. Never mind. Well, actually, wait, this box has to add up to 13 as well, and that's 5 cells. So that means the nullifier has to be here or here. And with 4, 1, 2, the other digit has to be a 6. 4, 1, 2, 6, and then a nullified something else. Which means these can't be the nullifier. Wait a second. Right, this these 5 cells, this is this part of the path in this box. So that's 5 cells already, meaning there has to be a nullifier on the path here somewhere. And it also means that the path cannot visit this cell, so it has to go directly across to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There has to be only one cell visited in this row. And it is potentially a nullified cell. 1, 2, 3, 4. There could be at most one cell visited here, so the path cannot go down here because that would necessitate adding 2 more cells and 6 total visited. So the path has to come up this way. And that's what, 4 cells in this box? Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4 cells in this row. Oh, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells visited in this column, however. So it cannot visit this cell or this cell. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could visit this cell, though, and include a nullifier. Ah, right, and that confirms that this is indeed a 5, which means this has to be a nullifier cell. Which pulls out nullifiers out of every other cell in this row, column, and box. Right, and there's 5 cells in this part of the path, meaning the nullifier has to lie on the path somewhere. And also that the nullifier has to lie on this part of the path, but we don't know where the path goes on this side, so we can't narrow that down just yet. That means that this part of the path is actually only 3 cells to sum to 13. Interesting. And it also means that this sum is actually only 2 cells. So it's 4 plus, and it has to be 9 here, because none of these cells can be visited. So we have a 9, which means these 2 digits have to be 1 and 3. Well, unless there's a nullifier and it visits this cell. There has to be 1s and 3s in 2 of these 3 cells, at least. Huh. I was hoping I could actually confirm that line, but with the nullifier, I still don't quite know. These 2 cells cannot add up to 13 because they need to add to this box to make 13, which means we need to visit more cells in this column, which means we need to go through this path here. Which gives us our 5 cells in this row, meaning these ones are normal, meaning the path has to exit through here. And I believe, yes, that is also 5 cells in this box. So this one has to be a normal cell and also not be visited. And, right, both of these cells diagonally cannot be visited. And this cell by the row and this cell by the box. I'll just leave it. I'll get rid of the X's so the numbers are easier to see. That's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells in this box. So it can't visit that cell. And this is also a non-nullified cell. This is only 4 cells in this row. 3, 4 here as well. So the path could just go straight here. Yeah, I hope it does, but I can't deny the possibility that it visits this one too for some reason. Wait a second. This column, it can't visit any of the other cells in this column. So this box and this column are both the same, meaning they both have to add up to 13. So yes, this does have to be the path in this box, and it is not contain. It could contain a nullifier if it contains a 4. It could be 9, 4, and a nullifier. Oh. And that would satisfy the box and the column. I thought we were so close. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has to be a 4 or a 5. If it's a 4, then this has to be a 9. If it's a 5, this has to be a nullified cell. But this, I don't think this can be a nullified cell. Because if this is nullified, then that means we only have these two cells to make the sum to 13. But this is a 1 or a 2, and we can't add that. We can't. This sum won't work. So it has to be. I believe this has to be 9 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has to move in diagonally then. And that does satisfy this box. And also that means that this is a nullified cell for this. Whoops. Box, row, and column. Putting another nullifier here for this row. Putting one here for this box. Means there's one here, there's one here. There's one somewhere in this box, and over in these cells as well. So this is a 4-cell sum. This is a 4-cell sum. This is potentially a 3 or 4-cell sum. The value in this cell doesn't matter because it is a 0. And magenta is a color which does not exist, therefore it is colored pink. These two cells, this is potentially 4 cells. This one has to be 4 cells. Maybe it's worth noting down all of the 4-cell sums, the confirmed 4-cell sums. Because there might be something we can use there. This one here cannot contain a 5, which means it's 1, 2, 3, 7, or 1, 2, 4, 6. That really doesn't help. 1, 2, 3 cells in this box. 4 cells here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's see. This cell. These two cells have to contain the same digit, actually. Because whatever they add to is they both add to these 3 cells to make 13. So these two digits are the same. They're just the same. The same digit. Wait a second. The 4-cell sum that contains a 2. No, it could be 1, 2, 3. Wait. Did I confirm it has to have a 6 in it? 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 7. How did I confirm this has a 6 in it? Wait. These two sums have to share a single digit. Well, this could be the nullifier that they simply do not share. I feel like that 6 was wrong. Oh, right, this 9. This 9 has to be added to a sum of 4, so that means this has to be 1 and 3, because if this is a 2, then this would also have to be 2. So this has to be 9, 3, 1. And so, this is 1 and 3, which means the remaining digits have to add up to 9. Also, this 3 means this has to be 8 or 9. Right, in this column, we have a 6, and which means this digit has to be a 7. That's a 3. I guess I've been neglecting these columns, these slightly easier ones, huh? 7. 7. 7, the 7 sum. These have to be the digits 1, 2, and 3, which means these have to be 7, 8, 9. This part has to contain a 3. Oh, right, and in this box too. So these do have to be, whoops, 1 and 2 for this box. 1, 2, 3, and 7. So we have 1, 2, 4, and 6. So yes, this does contain a 6 and a nullifier. Huh. This has to be 1, 2, 4, and 8, or 8, a pair of one of those two, because we can't have 3, 6 here. What are the remaining digits we have? This needs to be 4, 6, because we can't have 1, 2, or 3. So that has to be 4, 6. We're missing 5, 8, and 9. Right, and this digit is the same as this digit. So this can't be 4 or 8, which means that can't be 8. 5 could be nullified. I think, yes, this is a 5, 6, 9 triple. Because 5 and 9 can't go here, and we know a 6 has to go over here. In fact, I guess this is 5. Because it can't be 1 through 4. Can't be 6. Wait, what about 7? Wait, actually this digit, what can it even be? It has to be a 6, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. Right, it's 6 or 8. Right, if this is like a 7 or an 8, then we have to cram all of 5, 6, and 9 into uh, these, well, these two remaining cells would have to contain 5, 6, and 9. So this has to be the 5, this has to be an 8. This is a normal 6 and a nullified 9. And the remaining digit is 7. That puts an 8 here. These three digits are 3, 5, 7. These two digits are 2 and 8. Yeah. These two digits are 1, 6. And they're not on any sum or any other thing, so we can't really determine anything from them directly. Um, this has to be 3, 7, or 4, or 6. If the 6 is here, this has to be a nullifier. And then it would be 4 here, which I think is fine. But that does confirm that we have a nullified 9 in this section, which means because each nullifier contains a different digit, we can't have another nullified 9, which means this has to be a 5. So this sum can't contain 5, so it has to be 1, 2, 3, 7, or 1, 2, 4, 6. But I guess we knew that already because it has 1 and, or, well, well, it can't be 1, 2, 4, 6 because that would break this. So it has to be 1, 2, 4, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 7. Maybe we can look at columns again. Wait a second. If we have a 9, 4 here, then that means this has to be a nullified cell. Clears all of these, putting another nullifier here, clearing these. Ah, and there's a nullifier forced to be here. So that means these two have to be normal cells, making them 1 and 3. So we have to have 1, 2, 3, 7, putting a nullifier here, and the last one here. And I think that's everything, at least in terms of nullifiers. So that puts the 9 here, a 6 here. It ended up looking kind of like a ham pizza, square pizza. Maybe I'm just hungry. This has to be a 4-digit sum, which means it has to be can it be 1, 3, 4? Yeah, it could be, yeah, 3, 5 through 7. This sum contains a 7, which means these have to be 1, 5, or 4, 2. There's a 5 here, so these need to be 4 and 2. Making these three digits 7, 8, and 9. Well, there's a 9 here. these 4 digits are 1, 2, 3, and 6. These can't be 1 or 3. These can't be 2 or 6. These 4 digits are 4, 5, 6, and 8. These can't be 5 or 4. These can't be 6 or 8. Okay. This is a... These 3 cells have to be 1, 2, and 3. So these have to be 1 and 3. This is a 2. These 3 digits. These 3, potentially 4 digits. That one's done. That one's done. This one is not done, really. It has to contain a 3, which means it could be 5 or 7. In this row, at least. That one's done. This one, not done. We have 1, 2, and 3 in this row to add up to 13. What other constraints haven't we used yet? I think it's mostly just going to be Sudoku from here on out. Well, this one has to contain a 3 and a 2 because of this Kropki dot. So that has to be 1, 2, 3, 7, which means this also needs to be 1, 2, 3, 7. This can't be 7, which means this can't be 3. Putting a 3 here, a 9 there, a 1 here, 2 there. And a 1 here as well. 3, 1, 6, 2, 1 here. 6, 1, 1. These 3 digits are 4, 5, 6. Yes. This cannot be a 5 because it's a nullifier cell. Putting a 5 here by a row. These 4 digits are 3, 4, 5, 6. This can't be 4, 5. A 3-digit combination that contains 4 and a 2 or a 7. Well, it could be 4, 7, 2, potentially. I guess the only ones that really ended up being super important were the 4-digit sums. Huh. I guess if the path was going to visit most of the grid anyways, it makes sense. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've only got 4 nullifiers, which means we have 5 left. The digits are 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. 2, 4, 8, 2, 8, 2, 6. Okay. That doesn't really narrow anything down. 3-digit combo with a 1 in it. So it could be 9, 3, 8, 4, or 7, 5. But potentially there could be another digit here. It could be like 7, 1, 7, 2, 3. Wait, no, there's a 2 here already. I don't think he can visit this cell then. 2, 3. This would have to be 8. These 3 cells are confirmed though, so it has a 1 and this has to be the 7. And this has to be 7, 1, 5, right? And that would also put an 8 here. It looks like all signs are pointing at 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8. But is there another possibility? I don't know if there is. Because this is 8. This has to be 7, 1. Does it have to be 7, 1, 5? Unless it visits also this cell. But that's too many. It would have to be 7, 1, 2, 3. And there's no 2 down here. Um, so it can't visit this cell. Well, either way, that puts a 5 here. 715. And then for the box, or maybe the row. 1-5. I don't think there's 1-5-3-4. This would have to be 3-4. 4-5. 4-5. Puts a 5 up here. Could it visit these two cells? Or could the path be 1-3-4? Could this be 3-4? Potentially. 2-3-4. No. Because if it visits these three cells, 2-3-4 is not a valid combination for any of our 4-cell clues. So this has to be an 8, and this has to complete our line. I'm sure there's an easier way to logic that out. Future me, you've figured it out, right? Well, whatever. That puts a 2 here, puts a 4 there, 6. I know! Just stop bothering me. Whatever. Okay, 3 here, 8 here, 6 here. These two digits are, well, it's 3 digits. 4, 5, 8, puts a 5 here, 4 and 8, 6, 4. These two digits are 6 and 9, 6, 9, 8, 6. These three digits are, well, let's see. This is 6, this is 6, 1, 5, 7, right? Yes. 3, 7. These are 1 and 9. These three are, well, this digit is a 2. These are 4 and 7. This digit is also a 2. There's a 3 here. This is a 9. This digit is, oh, thanks. Why do you gotta always, just let me solve it, okay? Jeez. Anyways, I am no longer surprised that Finks quickly spotted what needed to be done in this maze, wasting no time in visiting all rows, columns, and boxes to achieve every total of 13. What did come as a surprise, however, was that Finks only ate half of her cupcake today. The first time this has ever happened. Whoa. Only half the cupcake? Why would you do such a thing? Anyways, that was a pretty long recording, so. Um, next time, we'll be solving experiment 14, thermoregulation. But until then, mo sono chika desho. Oyasuni.